I still look bald. Why? Right
Maybe
here.
put your bangs down.
Maybe if I like make this not so flat. No.
No.
What happened to
No.
it?
It looks fine. I'm just saying, I don't think that you really look that bald anyway.
I look sickly.
I forget how to do this. Are you ready?
I'm just upset because I was in my mood and now I just feel...
Would you like me to slap you?
The vibe is off now.
Do you want me to start? Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. Today has been a day. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Don't touch me!
Well, it has been, I guess, a long time since we've been here, and the people have spoken and they wanted more. Today's video is something different. We're doing a TBR. We got lots of books. All of our books are on these post-it notes in this hat. We're gonna take turns picking out of the hat. If I pick and it's Sabryn's book, I cannot read the back of it, but I'm gonna try to explain what it is by the title, what the synopsis is, and vice versa. If it's a book, because we have a couple books that are the same, so then we'll just read the back of the book. That's what we're gonna do, and you guys are gonna like it.
I would just like to say that we do not have any tea today because we are drinking coffee.
We're drinking coffee.
From Starbucks.
Are you gonna pick first? Don't look, close your eyes. It's not that complicated.
What feels right to me?
Yeah, what feels?
Hold on,
What post-it is calling your name?
There is no shaking. There is no Can you stop right or wrong answer. Stop shaking the hat.
Thank you.
No, not that one. Pick again.
Okay, here we go.
Let's go.
Once Upon a Broken Heart.
All right, good. Let's get this one out of the way.
So we both have this book. This is with the Caraval series. Okay, so this is what it's about. For as long as she can remember, Evangeline Fox has believed in true love and happy endings until she learns that the love of her life will marry another. Desperate to stop the wedding and to heal her wounded heart, Evangeline strikes a deal with the charismatic but wicked Prince of Hearts.
No, not wicked.
In exchange for his help, he asks for 3 kisses to be given at the time and place of his choosing. But after Evangeline's first promised kiss, she learns that bargaining with an immortal is a dangerous game, and that the Prince of Hearts wants far more from her than she pledged. He has plans for Evangeline, plans that will either end in the greatest happily ever after, or the most exquisite tragedy. So yes, this is like an extension of the Caraval series. This is about one of my favorite characters in the whole trilogy.
All right, my turn. You hold the hat. All right, make it a good one. Small Fry. Oh, this is both of ours too. This is a book that we both have as well. It's a memoir. Born on a farm and named in a field by her parents, artist Chris-Anne Brennan and Apple co-founder Steve Jobs, Lisa Brennan Jobs' childhood unfolded in a rapidly changing Silicon Valley. When she was young, Lisa's father was rarely present in her life. As a teenager, she moved back and forth between the imperfect but extraordinary worlds of her parents before finally setting out on her own. Part portrait of a complex family, part love letter to California in the 70s and 80s, Small Fry is an entrancing debut by a brilliant new literary voice.
This is exciting. I'm really
We're excited about this one because I don't read a lot of memoirs and I thought this was a good one to start with. Okay, good. That was a good one.
Okay.
Good job.
Yes, not starting out very excited,
No.
but just wait. It gets
Just
better.
wait, it gets better.
Let's go. Oh God. Jade City.
This is mine.
I think it's on my want to read. Jade City by Fonda Lee. Let's figure out what this book is about. I think the whole city is run on jade.
The stone.
I'm assuming that they have powers and the jade is the key. And it's a jade city.
I'm thinking everything's green.
I'm feeling the Wizard of Oz vibes.
Yeah.
There's probably little people, dwarfs. Munchkins. There's green munchkins going on. I think somebody steals the jade. There's probably
There's
secret
probably one
building.
big jade.
One big jade that powers the city. Somebody stole it. And there is like, how many books of
3.
this? There's 3. Okay, so I think it takes place in a different city that's run by these stones or gems. So I think next one's gonna be Ruby City. And then the next one's gonna be Amber City. But right now we're talking about Jade City, and I'm thinking that's what it's about. And some girl, she's gonna try to save her city.
Hey, do you want to read the back of it?
For centuries, honorable green bone warriors, that's green. They're green.
They're green.
I'm close. For centuries, honorable green bone warriors have used magical jade to enhance their abilities and defend the island of Kekon from foreign invasion. Now the war's over and a new generation vies for control of Kekon's bustling capital city. 4 siblings of the powerful Call family must prepare for battle, and the fragile peace between the clans is about to break.
Maybe.
That's exactly what I said.
Like in a lot of other words that wasn't that, it was.
No,
Okay. Made in Korea. That's Sabryn's. This is also on my TBR. Made in Korea by Sarah Sook. So what's happening in this book? Let me say. Well, you've got this guy and you've got this girl. Very cute. Already love them. Already shipping them hard. So cute. I think what is happening here is we're going to be talking about a lot in this book. There's a lot of like food. We're going to talk about Korean food, I think. I don't want to get my books mixed up, but there's a book that I just read that was talking about Korean food, and I think that Korean food is
So good.
I don't even really know. The title doesn't give much away. This guy has some cute glasses. This girl has a cute shirt on. They're looking at each other like...
Were you made in Korea?
I was made in Korea.
I'm ditching the food thing. The food thing isn't, we're done with that. Were you made in Korea? I was made in Korea. Were you made in Korea? I was made in Korea. So they bond over that. They bond over coming from the same place. And then they move from Korea to another place, possibly America, possibly Britain. I don't know. This could be British. And then they decide that they're going to go back to Korea, to their roots. And they just are in a bonding session.
How do you think they are connected?
They are childhood enemies, and they decide to not be enemies anymore.
Wow.
And then something happens. I know how these books go. To where they're enemies again, but then they fall in love. Let's see how close I am. There's nothing Valerie Kwan loves more than making a good sale. Together with her cousin Charlie, they run VNCK Beauty, their school's most successful student-run enterprise. With each sale, Valerie gets closer to taking her beloved and adventurous Harmony. What is that word?
Harmony.
Okay, to her dream city, Paris. And to the new kid in cat class, Wes Jung, who is determined to pursue music after graduation despite his parents' major disapproval. When his classmates clamor to buy the K-pop brand of beauty products his mom gave him to make new friends, he sees an opportunity, one that may be the key to helping him pay for the music school tuition he knows his parents won't cover. What he doesn't realize, though, is that he is now VNCK Beauty's biggest competitor. Stakes are high as Valerie and Wes try to outsell each other, make the most money, and take the throne for the best business in school, all while trying to resist the undeniable spark. I knew it. Their enemy spark that's crackling between them. From hiring spies to all or nothing bets, the competition is much more than either of them bargained for. But one thing is clear, only one Korean business can come out on top. Okay, so the moral of the story is this. They are enemies. Something happened. They're getting close. Something happens. They're enemies again. And then they fall in love. And that is what is important. Thank you. I feel like I really got that. All right, let's keep going.
Little Women. Let's
We all-
go to a classic.
We all know what Little
And I
Women's
have a
about.
lot.
We
But
love it.
First of all, I would just like to take a minute. Let's appreciate
The
this-
beauty.
The beauty. I got this on Book Outlet, and if you're interested in getting it,
Link down below.
it is Paper Mill Press. I am so bad
I know Little
at
Women.
summarizing.
I know Little Women pretty well. Can I do it?
Okay.
Yeah. Little Women is about 4 sisters who are all super, super different and all different. They're different in different types of ways, you know? And so it just goes on, but really mainly it focuses on Joe, who is kind of a tomboy, and nobody understands that. So it really just focuses on their little adventures. Their dad's at war, so it's just their mother taking care of them. And it kind of goes through them growing up. All right, my turn. Woo! I'm gonna take this one. It was off to the side. Oh, it's mine. Rain and Delilah's Midnight Matinee. This is by Jeff Zentner. I'm just gonna read you the blurb. High school seniors and best friends Delia and Josie are 2 of the brightest stars on TV6, the premier public access cable station in Jackson, Tennessee. Every Friday night, they slip into their on-screen personas, Rain Ravenscroft and Delilah Darkwood, to host Midnight Matinee, an enthusiastic creature feature that screens low-budget horror and sci-fi flicks from the past. But hosting a local TV show has its challenges. Josie has been dreading graduation as she tries to decide whether to leave for a big university and the chance to chase her dream career in mainstream TV. And Lawson, one of the show's guest performers, a talented MMA fighter with weaknesses for pancakes, fantasy novels, and Josie, is making her tough decision even harder. Scary movies are the last connection Delia has to her dad, who abandoned the family years ago. If Midnight Matinee becomes a hit, maybe he'll see it and wants to be a part of her life again. And maybe Josie will stay with the show instead of leaving her behind too. As the tug of war between growing up and growing apart tests the bonds of their friendship, Delia and Josie start to realize that an uncertain future can both be monstrous and momentous. We have lots in here to go, so we need to speed it up.
We are kind of switching it up. I got my book, Daisy Jones and the Six. So I'm gonna have Summer explain what this is about.
Here's exactly what I think is gonna go down in this book. If any of you have seen The High Note with Tracee Ellis Ross and Dakota Johnson, which is a very good movie, I think. I feel like this is gonna be the same aesthetic. So sorry, this is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This girl, very 70s, so obviously this is in the 70s. So she wants to be this really big star. Daisy Jones and the Six, this is her band. There are 7 of them, Daisy Jones and 6 more. And so they are going to make like album of the year. That's what they want to do. She's trying to be Joan Jett, so rock. She's really trying to be like the biggest rock star in the world, on the world, not in it. Then she meets somebody else who also wants to be the biggest rock star
On the world.
and they compete. All of my plot points have competing in it, so get ready. They are masters at what they do, both of them, of course. So their albums go out, then they like are running into each other in publicity places, and they're like,
Always about to fight.
obviously the other one is they're gonna fall in love. They really bond in their competitiveness, so then they make an album together.
And it rules the world.
I'm gonna read what it's actually about, but that was exciting. So everyone knows Daisy Jones and the Six. The band's album, Aurora, came to define the rock and roll era of the late 70s, and an entire generation of girls wanted to grow up to be Daisy. But no one knows the reason behind the group's split on the night of their final concert at Chicago Stadium on July 12th, 1979. Until now.
I was literally so close.
You actually, yes.
I said rock and roll when I was gonna go with country.
I'm really...
Maybe rap. Okay, let me pick. My thumbs aren't working today. Peach Blossom Spring, baby.
I actually kind of forget what this is about.
All right, well, I just did it, so go ahead. We both have this one. This was our February book of the month.
The cover is beautiful. It's by Melissa Fu, and I picked this because I like the plot, but I completely forget what it's about. I'm thinking this is historical
fiction.
It's about them, they're immigrating to from China.
yes.
I think it's gonna show how they adjust to their new life.
We can do this together because we both have this book.
Okay.
This is more about familial love.
Yes.
The closeness of the family.
I know that a tree is gonna be significant. It's gonna be either symbolic in the book or an actual tree.
You and your symbolism, you love it.
What can I say?
I don't know. There's a lot to say about the cover. It just kind of explains family. It's a mom and her child. We got the tree and mountains, which we'll see. We'll see what that means.
It symbolizes the struggle.
So here, you read.
Okay. Moving debut novel about war, migration, and the power of telling our stories that follows 3 generations of a Chinese family on their search for a place to call home. I think this is gonna be like
So good.
a real good one.
Yeah.
Like a core book of the year.
That you're not going to forget.
Yes.
So there are some books that just
you just
stick
know.
with you. This might be one of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got a lot in here.
I know.
Tokyo
Ever
After.
After.
This
Let's
one's
go.
one of mine.
I kind of know what this is about.
I forget, so I'm excited to hear what you're gonna say.
Tokyo Ever After. I'm assuming, obviously she's royalty. She like is Japanese American. She travels to Japan, finds out that she's royalty. And this is from my knowledge of reading the plot.
Oh, okay. So it's not fair.
It's not, so it's gonna be pretty accurate.
You know, the typical fun, oh surprise, like Princess Diaries, you're actually a princess.
A Japanese Princess Diaries.
Love to see it.
Love to see it.
Obviously there's gonna be romance in here. She's gonna either fall in love with,
A commoner.
I think it's a bodyguard, or it's gonna be another prince.
Okay, so She's Japanese American. You were right about that.
Yes.
She lives in Northern California, and she was raised by a single mother. And she always felt like it's been her and her mom against the world. So she travels to Japan to meet the father she didn't know about, you got that right, and discovers that she is a princess. There are a lot of cousins that are conniving, I guess.
Gotta have that drama.
A hungry press, a scowling but handsome bodyguard. We love to see that. Lots of traditions and customs that she's got to learn overnight. So this is just her little adventure that she's gonna have to learn. Alrighty.
Station 11.
Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I know that this is about a pandemic. So what happens in this pandemic is that I feel like there are only a few people left on Earth, and that Station 11 is the base of which all these people live in one area. It talks about post-apocalyptic type things and how they're gonna have to just create this whole new generation and repopulate the whole Earth, but also try to find a cure for the disease.
You're right, it is about a pandemic. Let me just read it. Kirsten Raymond will never forget the night Arthur Leander, the famous Hollywood actor, had a heart attack on stage during a production of King Lear. That was also the night when a devastating flu pandemic arrived in the city, and within weeks, civilization as we know it came to an end. 20 years later, Kirsten moves between the settlements of the altered world with a small troupe of actors and musicians. They call themselves the Traveling Symphony, and they have dedicated themselves to keeping the remnants of art and humanity alive. But when they arrive in St. Deborah by the water, they encounter a violent prophet who will threaten the tiny band's existence. And as the story takes off, moving back and forth in time and vividly depicting life before and after the pandemic, the strange twist of fate that connects them all will be revealed. I heard it's a wild ride. We were kind of losing our motivation
Our
here,
zest for life. Our joie de vivre. Wild Blue Wonder. This one's mine.
I'm ready to make something up. Wild Blue Wonder by Carly Sorosiak. Let me read this. There are two monsters in this story. One of them is me.
Ooh.
Let me show you. Yes, Wild Blue Wonder. I'm thinking it's taken place in the wild. If one of the monsters is her, I'm thinking
She was raised by wolves.
and she has come back into civilization, and obviously she's wild. No, she doesn't know how to be a
blue.
human.
She's
And
a blue munchkin.
absolutely. Yes, let's bring it back to the munchkin.
Let's round
She's
it
a
out.
blue munchkin
Yeah.
who was raised by wolves, and people are wondering, who is she? Wild Blue Wonder. Who is this wolf/blue munchkin that appeared out of nowhere? And it's about her trying to integrate back into society. Obviously, it's going to be tough for
A blue munchkin.
so there's going to be a lot of discrimination. She's the one monster, the blue munchkin, and then the other monster is just humanity. The end.
That is literally the most wrong you've ever read.
I'm just gonna read you this because it's embarrassing to paraphrase. Anyone in Winship, Maine will tell you the summer camp Quinn's family owns is magical. Paper wishes hang from the ceiling. Blueberries grow in the dead of winter. There's the blue. According to legend, a sea monster even lurks off the coast. Mostly, there's just a feeling that something extraordinary would happen there, like Quinn falling in love with her best friend Dylan. After the accident, the magic drained from her life. Now Dylan is gone. The camp is a lonely place, and Quinn knows it's her fault. But the new boy in town, Alexander, doesn't see her as the monster she believes herself to be. As Quinn lets herself open up again, she begins to understand the truth about love, loss, and monsters, real and imagined. I think it's your turn.
Yeah.
We're getting down to the nitty gritty.
We're getting there. Reckless Girls.
This is Sabryn's
mine,
January book of the month. Oh, I'm sorry, Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. Obviously from the Hibiscus. This takes place in Hawaii. They're on this island
Hawaii.
and there's like stuff going on, and it's like a murder mystery, I think. And they're on this island and they're like, oh my gosh, we gotta get off this island because something is happening.
And they're reckless about it.
There are no boats. There is no food. So these reckless girls are trying to get off the island, but they can't. There are no boats because the boats know better to go near this island. There are no other people to help them. So they try to swim. That doesn't work. They try to eat these things that are on the island.
What are these things?
The hibiscus flowers that grow on the island, and that doesn't fill them up. and they can't drink the salt water. So they don't have fresh water. Nobody else is on the island, but they come across a body and they're like,
where did this come from?
and they have to try to run from whoever. I think I'm pretty close.
I really thought you were gonna turn that hibiscus into like a drug and then they all hallucinate. Okay, so there's one island, 6 visitors, and countless secrets. So they all come at separate times. And there's a couple, there's these 2 best friends, and in this case, one of them is murdered. And they don't know what happens. They find the body. Oh, there are rumors of cannibalism too on this island
What?
they go to.
No.
All these are gonna be classics. No. Hot British Boyfriend.
I
Heck
kind
yeah.
of told you what this was about.
Hot British Boyfriend.
This
by
is mine.
Christy Boyce. This is like a fake dating trope. I already know it. And it's about a boy and a girl who are like, okay, I like this person, and then I like this person, and then they're like, okay, well, to get these people to like me, then we should just fake date. And obviously he's British. The scarf just gives it away, and the teacup gives it away. Also, the scene of London gives it away, and she's like, oh, I don't know about it, and then they just fall in love anyway. I think I basically said what it's about.
Well, you know what? We're gonna leave you hanging. You can look and see what this is actually about.
I was pretty close.
Sure. Okay.
We're just not gonna tell you guys what that was about.
No, we're not.
This idea was stupid. I don't know why we're still doing it in the first place.
We're in it now.
Yeah, we have to keep going. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. So another paper mill classic. They're so pretty. I actually just picked these out. I don't really know what this is gonna be about. I think that the rest of this video, I'm gonna make things up and you guys are gonna have to look them up and see what they're really about because I'm so lazy at this point. Jane Eyre. She's a sophisticated young woman who doesn't need a man.
As we all
She's
are.
trying to make her way through, I'm thinking the 1800s. And you know, it's hard for a woman back then. Mm-hmm. She's trying to make her a name for herself. I think she's just trying to get by, trying to deal with the sexist comments men make. I don't know if she wants to be an author. I don't know if she wants to be a musician. Honestly, you can be anything you want to be. Maybe she doesn't believe in love, but somebody comes along and it makes her rethink everything she's known or thought.
Right.
And you know what? I bet she's still successful in her journey of whatever occupation she's wanting to be in. The end.
Right. What do we have left? The Magnolia Palace. This was my January book of the month.
I read this and I was gonna pick it, but I didn't.
Are we just giving up on the making the stories up?
No, I'm still going. This is the only thing that's keeping me alive right now because at this point, I don't understand why we're doing this at all. I'm kind of giving up on the video.
This is the Magnolia Palace.
We're dead inside.
But, anyway, the Magnolia Palace by Fiona Davis.
Okay.
You do not have the joie de vivre.
Didn't I say I didn't? I'm assuming it's about this old mansion or palace.
Yeah.
That their
Building
last name
palace.
was Magnolia, and it was a rich old money family. This girl comes in and discovers their history, and she's like somehow connected. There's secrets, there's betrayal, there's crime. We don't know how she decided to come here in the first place. It was destiny. And definitely there is, what's the word when you're taking money from people? And it's a
Theft? Embezzlement?
embezzlement. There's embezzlement in this as well.
I'm just
That's
picking
it.
one.
Okay,
No.
I'll take the last
Okay, there
one.
we go. All right. Last two. Everybody knows what Pride and Prejudice is about. This is one of the best movies ever made, so we're not going into it.
I think there's going to be a lot of pride and a lot of prejudice in it.
The Authenticity Project. This was on my TBR for a very long time, so I can go into it if you want me to. Because I don't remember. The Authenticity Project by Claire Pooley. If I remember correctly, I think that this is about a journalist who is taking the story of a lot of people's lives in his area. I think what's happening though is that these people just have all different kinds of lives, kind of like similar to Humans of New York. Maybe they interconnect in some way at the end. And they're all in the same community and they just all run into each other at different times of their lives. I'm just gonna read this. The story of a solitary green notebook that brings together 6 strangers and leads to unexpected friendship and love.
I really was so right.
Well, guys, that was it. Close.
I think this was entertaining. Honestly, none of it made sense. The moral of the story is make sure you've done your hair before I come over. But I'm just realistic, you know, sometimes when the vibe ain't right, the vibe ain't right. And at the end of this video, I didn't even know why we were doing it in the first place. In order to know the positive, you need negative, right? Absolutely. So why not bring a little negativity?
Okay.
But thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
watching and putting up with us. We love you.
Love you.